भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. In this 50th class, it's also the last class in this Mundaka Upanishad series, we are going to take the last two mantras of the third Mundaka, second Khanda. Before that, as per a request made by one of you, I am going to briefly tell the meanings of the peace invocation that we sing. Bhadram karne vishrunuyama devaha. These peace invocations don't talk about that transcendental truth, knowing which ensues. The study of the Upanishad is meant for gaining that Brahma Vidya. No two opinions on that. But the Shanti Mantra is about living energetically, living so well, so rightly, that our study of this Brahma Vidya may truly be successful. As Swami Gambhirananda translates this Shanti Mantra, Devaha is Sambodhana, addressing them. So is the word Yajatraha, oh, worshipful ones. Yaj is to worship. O gods, O ones who are worthy of worship, Bhadram karnebihi shranuyama. Please bless us that we may hear shranuyama. Bhadram, what is auspicious, again and again, with our ears. In modern Sanskrit, it would be karnaihi, or a single person would say karnabhyam, but arsha prayoga karnebihi. With our ears, may we hear what is ennobling, elevating, and with our eyes, akshabhi, bhadra, may we see more and more of what is harmonious, what brings conflicts to an end, what strengthens healthy bonds between people, what gives inspiration to go deeper into the Vedanta study. May we see such good things, Bhadram Pashyema Akshabhi, with our eyes. There is Sthiraihi Angaihi and Sthiraihi Tanubihi, with strong and stable limbs, with healthy bodies, limbs, is body, Tushtuvam Saha. Tushtuvan Saha comes from the verbal root stu. Tushtu. Stu, which of you know in words like stuti, or for that matter in the word stotra. So what does Tushtuvan Saha mean? We who have been praising you, who have been adoring you. For Devas are in heaven not by accident. They are in heaven. That's how they have become devas, devatas, due to a lot of merit that have earned while on the earth. Therefore, they are punyatmas. They are merited, meritorious souls, and they deserve all our praise. Tushtuvansaha, stim kurvanaha. We who have been praising you would like to live our life. Ayuhu vyashema. We would like to spend the length of time allotted to us by karma, by the karma adhyaksha, by God. Deva hitam. Some people translate it as given by gods because they oversee the operation of karma. But Swami Gambhirananda says, Deva hitam, devanam hitam, may we live our life in a way that is beneficial. Hita means beneficial. May our life be beneficial to gods. When we do something beneficial to good people, double the benefit comes back to us. Therefore, when we praise gods and we do things by which they are pleased, they in turn bless us with many benefits. Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantu vaha, says Bhagavad Gita. Parasparam bhavayantaha shreya param avapsyatha. Chapter 3. Therefore, the first mantra in this prayer of two mantras is all about living energetically, passionately, with enthusiasm, keeping good health, doing good things. And in the process, our mind becomes more and more pure and refined, and we will be able to study the Upanishads with due care. The second mantra now says, Swastinaha Indra. Indra, the king of gods in heaven, who is Vriddha Shravaha, who is of such Shravas fame, that is Vriddha, long standing. Vriddha means his fame has been in this universe for a very long time. He hasn't become famous just the other day. He has been well known for ages. Such Indra may be auspicious, may be good to us. Naha asmakam. Likewise, swastinaha pusha. Pusha elsewhere is one of the names of Lord Sun, Surya. Mitraya Namaha, Ravaye Namaha, Suryaya Namaha, Bhanave Namaha, Khagaya Namaha, Pushne Namaha. We say while doing Surya Namaskars, we recite 12 names. Hiranyagarbhaya Namaha, Marichaya Namaha, Adityaya Namaha, Savitre Namaha, Arkaya Namaha, Bhaskaraya Namaha, Om Shri Savitra Surya Narayanaya Namaha. Some do 12, some do 24, some may do 13. Of the 12 names of Surya Bhagavan, one is Pushan, which becomes Pushne Namaha. But Swami Gambhirananda of Ramakrishna Mission, who left behind excellent translations of major Upanishads along with commentaries by Sri Shankaracharya, considers Pusha as god of the earth, a certain devata overseeing the earth and all the affairs of the earth, the functioning of the earth. The same name in the Vedas may have different meanings in different contexts. You and I in this 21st century are more familiar with meanings of God's names that are currently used. But in Vedas, some of the same names would have had some other meaning. Therefore, quite possibly, Pusha is indeed god of the earth. Otherwise, may Surya be auspicious to us, propitious to us, be good to us. Swastinaha Tarkshaha. Tarksha is a name of Garuda, the huge bird who is the vehicle of Lord Vishnu. Before that, Pusha Vishwavedaha. Pusha or Pushan is praised as one who knows. Veda means knowing. Vishwa. It's about Surya, the sun also, for he looks at everything and knows everything. And Nastarksha, that is Naha, us, Tarkshaha, Garuda, Arishta Nemihi. He is credited with removing all obstacles. And all Arishta is evil, destroyer of evil. May he be well disposed towards us. And last but not the least, Brahaspati, the great Guru of gods. Like Shukracharya is the Guru of Asuras, Brahaspati is the Guru of Suras. May this Brahaspati Swasti Dadhatu. May he bless us with auspiciousness, with well-being. Our efforts for good purposes should not be meeting with obstacles, and it should move smoothly. Thus, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om is remembrance of the Supreme God. That is the best name that applies to God, they say. God finally is beyond words, beyond thought. If there is any name that comes the closest, they say it is Om. 3 times Shanti is to pacify, is to quieten agitations caused by cosmic forces, thunder, lightning, and so on. And then man-made problems or problems caused by other living beings, birds, animals, and so on. If it is true that Chinese laboratories created this COVID, then it is man-made. That would be Adi Bhautika, the second kind of tapa, affliction. But if it is an accident, if it is caused by nature, then it is Adi Daivika tapa. So COVID could be Adi Daivika tapa or Adi Bhautika tapa. Then there are many troubles which we cause to ourselves. We eat some wrong food and then we lose our mood to study. We talk too much on phone, and when put the phone down, we feel, now who will study Upanishad? In various ways, we live an unbalanced life, and then there is no cheerfulness or a willingness to go to the depths of the Vedanta. That is Adi Atmika, Adhyatmika. Adi Daivika, Adi Bhautika, Adhyatmika Tapa, Tapatraya they are called. May these 3 kinds of afflictions, troubles, obstacles, agitations, etc., may the 3 kinds subside. May they go away. Om is the Shanti mantra. Now, the 10th and 11th mantra need to be seen in this last class of the Mundaka Upanishad. And Shankaracharya says, Atha idanim, then now, Brahma Vidya Sampradana. How is this highest wisdom handed over? Sampradana is handing over. What has come down over the ages is Sampradaya, tradition. Brahma Vidya Sampradana Vidhi Upapradarsanena, showing the way it has to be done. This whole Upanishad is being concluded. Upasamharaha kriyate. Upakrama is to begin, Upasamhara is to conclude. So the mantra goes, mantra 10 of Mundaka-3 of Khanda 2 in this whole Upanishad, which has 65 mantras. Tadetad richa abhyuktam kriyavanta shrotriya brahmanishthah swayam juhvata ekarshim shraddhayantah teshamevaitam brahma vidyam vadeta shirovratam vidhivad yaistu chirnam. The mantra which is called a rik. This is Atharva Veda, but by a certain kind of classifying this structure, this mantra, the way it is composed, it is called a rich. So, in Atharva Veda, this mantra is rik. Richa is by this rik. In Taittiriya Upanishad, you know, in Brahmananda Valli, though the Upanishad is of Yajurveda, some of the mantras are called rich. Tate tat richa abhyuktam. You get that expression. All right. Rik. This mantra says, Kriyavantah. Those who have done kriya, means karma, before embarking on the quest of the timeless, the Advitiya Brahma, they have performed their duties, including Vedic rituals and so on, and there is a ripening in their personality. Shrotriya, they have studied the Veda Purva, and now they are into Vedanta. Shrotriya, one who has studied the Vedas. Brahmanishta, they are quite stable in their devotion to Aparabrahma. Now they seek the Parabrahma. Such people are the deserving recipients of this highest wisdom. Swayam vataha ekarshim shraddhayantaha. In Atharva Veda, they say there is some special ritual called ekarshi. It is a karma. And the context is of olden days. It doesn't have to be literally the same at present times. At present times, you and I get ripe by some other anushtanas, some seva, some selfless service, some worship, some upasanas of a different kind is what we are into in these times. But those times, they had to perform a ritual called Ekarshi, Juhvatar, performing that. Who, Juhoti, is to offer into fire what is prescribed. Homa, Havana, they come from the root Hu, Juhoti, Juhvataha, Shraddhayantaha. And all this is done not like a mere show, but it is done with their heart. Tesham eva etam brahma vidyam vadeta. Eva, to such people only, not to Tom, Dick, or Harry. Not anybody who comes, I want to learn Vedanta. Can you teach me in 7 days? Because next week I have to go somewhere. All such impatient people. Or some people apparently have patience, but they have some personality issues. Too impatient or lazy, or having in a corner of their bosom some desire for worldly pleasures and positions and so on. Then it would be like rain on a rock. Nothing will sprout on the surface of the rock. Tesham eva, of people who through karma and upasana, through seva and other practices have evolved, to them this Brahma Vidya has to be told. And one more dimension, again couched in the language of those days, Shirovratam Yaihi Chirnam. Those who have performed Shirovrata. For those adhering to Atharva Veda in those days, there was a certain spiritual practice where they had to carry fire on their head, maybe in a kind of a bowl or kind of a vessel of some metal, they carry fire. The head gets hot, but putting up with certain amount of heat that is bound to be, they carry it some distance, probably reciting some mantras. Probably that marks the end of some upasanas which they would have taken up for a length of time. These are symbolic. Now, in Olympics, every 4 years, the Olympic flame is carried from the previous place where the Olympics was held to the present place where it will be held, or some other distance also, carrying the Olympic torch, right? Now you may wonder, why all that? Life has a place for all those things. Certain gestures, certain practices, certain symbolism, which is understood by people who are properly introduced to them, otherwise misunderstood and understated, undervalued by others. Shirovratam yaihi tu chirnam vidivat. They also should do that Shirovrata. Shira is head, Vrata is a vow or a practice in which carrying fire is involved. Adi Shankara explains Tadetat Vidya Sampradana Vidhanam, the method, the procedure, the traditional way of transferring this wisdom, Richa. Richa here just means mantrena. Mantrena abhyuktam, abhipraya purvakam uktam, with the very decisive opinion on the whole matter. Abhiprakashitam, not just revealed, but revealed with some assertiveness. Kriyavantaha, in what way is it said? Those yatokta karmanushtana yuktaha. They must have performed karmas which were enjoined, not anything that came to their mind. Swachhanda Vyavahara doesn't qualify anybody for these higher flights of philosophical insights. They must do what is prescribed. And to that extent, by doing what is prescribed, they would have subdued their likes and dislikes. The human nature generally is to do what one likes and not to do at all, or postpone endlessly what one doesn't like. But as the expression goes, yatokta karma. There is a list, these are to be done, whether you like them or not. Do them. Now, more than the benefit accruing from those karmas, you have in the process overcome certain likes and dislikes too. Shotriyaha, Brahmanishtaha. So, aparasmin Brahmani, I told you, Parabrahma and Aparabrahma. The deserving students have stabilized themselves in Aparabrahma. Parabrahma Bubhutsavaha, Bodhum Ichchavaha. They are stable in their understanding of Apara Brahma, the lower Brahman. Now, Bodhum, want to know, they want to know Parabrahma. Param Brahma Bubhutsavaha, Swayam Ekarshim. Shankara clarifies, Ekarshi here literally means one sage, a single rishi, but it actually is the name of Ekarshi Namanam Agnim. Agni means a ritual. Nama, it has that name. Juhvate. Juhvataha could also be one sandhi splitting, but Acharya Shankara takes it Juhvate, plural. Juhoti, Juhvataha, Juhvate. Juhoti, Juhutaha, Juhvate. Karoti, Kurute, Kurvate, Kurvate, like that. Atmanepadi. Kurute, Kurvate, Kurvate. In Parasmayapadi, Karoti, Kurutaha, Kurvanti. Leave it aside. So he takes it as a regular verb in lat, lakara. Juhvate, which means juhvati. It appears in Paninian grammar. Hu juhoti is Parasmayapadi. Therefore, the Veda mantra has used it in Atmanepadi Juhvate, that is Vedic license. In the Bhashya, The Bhashyakara corrects it. Juhvate to be taken as Juhvati. Like Satyameva Jayate in Paninian Sanskrit is Satyameva Jayati. Shraddhayantaha, Shraddhadhanaha Santaha, ye, whoever they are, Tesham Eva, Samskritanam. Sanskrita means refined. Sanskara, Parishkara, right? Sanskritanam Eva. They are not raw. They are not immature. They are not prone to doing whatever they like. They are thoughtful. They are mellowed down. Their rajoguna has come down, has become very less. Therefore, Samskrit Atmanam, their inner being, Atma here is inner being, Antakarana. Sanskrit Atmanam, Patra Bhutanam, they are the Patra, deserving ones. Etam Brahma Vidyam Vadeta Bruyat, teachers should say, should reveal to such students, and the students are further qualified, saying, Shiro Vratam, Shirasi Agnidharana Lakshanam Vratam. There's a certain vrata. So carrying fire, maybe in a bowl, as I said, upon the head, is just the last part or one part of the whole process. There must be some mantra, some tantra, some rules, some regulations, including how one must live during the day, during several days before that particular ritual. It's not a one time or not an affair of just that day. To do that vrata, you got to prepare for days on end. Atharvananam Vedavratam Prasiddham. Those days it was so well known. Prasiddha means well known. We have no idea what it is. However, yaistu yaischa tat chirnam vidivat. Chirna here means charitam, practiced properly according to vidhi. Yatha vidhanam teshameva cha vadeta. They must be told. They only must be taught, not others. And with this, the 11th and last mantra declares, this is what Angirasa taught Shaunaka. Tade tat satyam rishihi Angiraha. Is he Angiraha or is he Angirasa? You may have a doubt. This is one and the same. Angiraha is Prathama Vibhakti Ekavachana of the word Angiras. We have a word Chandramas. The rude, the crude word is not rude, the crude word is Angiras. And the crude word is Chandramas. But when you do Vibhakti, Chandramaha, Chandramasau, Chandramasa, Chandramasam, Chandramasau, Chandramasaha, Chandramasa, Chandramobhyam, Chandramobihi, like that. Same way, Angiras is the crude word. In first case singular, it becomes Angiraha. Just as Chandramas becomes Chandramaha. Nachiketas becomes Nachiketaha. So this is a little grammar. Don't worry about it. If you don't understand grammar, it doesn't come in the way of your enlightenment. It is more for appreciating words, picking on every little structure, which is important for some, not important for all. So Angiraha, we refer sometimes to this very Angiraha as Angirasa. Because Angiraha, when you do Vibhakti, Angiraha, Angirasa, Angirasaha, Angirasam, Angirasa, 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 Angirobhyam, like that it goes. So there is a Sakara which shows up in some Vibhaktis, not everywhere. Pura, ancient times, Uvacha, we know in the beginning, he taught this to Shaunaka. Shaunako havai mahashalaha, vidivad upasannaha, papracha, etc. was said. As the first two mantras had in the beginning of the Upanishad, Brahma Devanam Pratama Sambhabhuva Vishwasya Karta Bhuvanasya Gopta, etc. Chaturmukha Brahma gave it to Atharva, his son. Atharva gave it to Angihi, that is a Rakaranta name. Angihi, Angirau, Angiraha, not Sakaranta. Then Angihi gave to Satyavaha, whose Gotra was Bharadwaja. Satyavaha gave to Angiraha. So the teacher in this Upanishad is fifth in the link, in the chain. Brahma to Atharva to Angihi to Satyavaha to Angiraha or Angirasa. And this Angirasa gave it to Shaunaka. So Shaunaka is the sixth guy, sixth person. So Purovacha na etad achirna vrataha adhite. Literally, achirna vrataha is someone who has not performed that Shirovrata. But what it means is anybody among us who has not lived a disciplined life and suddenly wants to get headlong into Vedanta will find it very difficult. Sannyasastu Mahabaho. What is that? Yoga Yukto Munir Brahma Achirena Adhigacchati. If one has sannyasa is very difficult for those who have not practiced yoga, karma yoga and so on. But those who have mastered yoga, not Patanjali yoga, karma yoga, will easily achieve true sannyasa. There is a sannyasa dukkham aptum ayogataha. Yeah, that's the expression. Sannyasastu mahabaho dukkham aptum ayogataha. Yoga yukto munir brahma na chirena adhigacchati, says Bhagavad Gita. By yoga is meant what is implied here by Chirna Vrata. So there are many ways in which we may set our house in order. Our bosom is free of mundane conflicts, free of this guilt or that shame or that revenge, that inability to forgive and so on. Those are the impurities when those are put behind. And that doesn't happen by simply talking about them. Achirna vrataha na adite. If somebody without preparation studies, it won't be fruitful. That's all. Namah paramarashibhyo, namah paramarashibhyaha. Why said twice? That is a way to indicate the completion of the whole scripture. You know that in good old days, these were not in the form of printed books, not even palm leaves and so on. In the good old days, all these great Vedic texts were recited and recited and recited, repeated and repeated and repeated by the students. They were chanting these mantras. Therefore, Namah Paramarashibhyo, Namah Paramarashibhyaha, when they say it twice, everybody knows, oh, we have come to the completion. That is when you have to wind up and say Om Shanti and so on. Bhashyakara gives another few beautiful, simple comments. Tadetadaksharam purusham satyam, this great truth, the imperishable truth, Rishihi Angiraha Nama. Angiras, whom we also call Angiraha. Angir we call as Angihi. Pura Purvam Shaunakaya Vidivad Upasannaya Prishtabate Uvacha. Shaunaka came in a proper way, Samit Panihi and so on, and asked also in a very appropriate manner. Tadvad Anyopi, like Shaunaka, anybody among you and me, Anyaha api, Tathaiva Shreyortine, really eager to get that true Shreyas. That true Shreyas in the Brahma Vidya context is called Nishreyas. In his introductory portion of Gita Bhāshya, Adi Shankara says, there are only two goals for all Vedic wisdom, Abhyudaya and Nishreyasa. Abhyudaya is personality development. We become more responsible, more alert, We let go of all our childish, immature ways, Abhyudaya. And that will be generally accompanied by some success in any field where we are working. Abhyudaya, progress. Nishreyasa is the highest good. Upasannaya prashravate vacha tadvadanyopi tathaiva shreyorthine. Vidyam arthayate iti vidyarthi. Shreyaha arthayate iti shreyorthi. One who seeks the higher good. Mumukshave moksham ichchati. So mumukshu. Mokshartham vidivadupasannaya bruyat. A teacher must impart to a deserving student. A teacher should not turn away a deserving student. Then, naitad grantha rupam achirna vrataha acharita vrataha api adite na patati. In English, sometimes they say, to give the meaning of this should not be done, this is not the right thing to do. They just say, it is not done. This is not done. So when in the right context it is put like that, this is not done, what is meant is what you are doing, what you have done is a terrible thing. Wise people, pious people, dharmika people don't do it. So this is not done. So study of Mundaka Upanishad is not taken up by those who are not prepared. But in the world there are people who take up anyhow. Well, they will be going in circles. They will not get the true benefit contained in the Upanishad study. In the Kali Yuga, they say lots of lip Vedantins. Every second person is a Vedanti nowadays. But it is one thing to talk Vedanta, but another to live Vedanta. So if it is about living Vedanta, na etad achirna vrataha adite. Chirna vratasya hi, because only someone who has done the vratas and come to a certain maturity, vidya falaya samskrita bhavati iti. So that great phala of all this vidya becomes available to such people. They are refined and vidya falaya samskrita bhavati. Vidya. Sanskrita is adjective to vidya, so it is feminine. Vidya is full of sanskara of such a person. When there is sanskara, it becomes fruitful. That is the idea. A bit different kind of construction. All right. The last part says Samapta Brahma Vidya. This Brahma Vidya is completed here. Samapta Brahma Vidya. Sa yebhyo brahmadibhyah paramparya kramena samprapta tebhyo namah paramarishibhyah. There have been before us many rishis, supreme seers, to whom this vidya, paramparya, para to apara, from the high to the low, from the high to the low. That is guru to shishya, that shishya becomes a guru. To his shishya, that's paramparya. So that lineage, that succession of teachers are now praised, or we say namaha to them. Namaha paramarishibhya. Shankara explains even the word parama and rishi here. Parama is paramam brahma and rishi is drishta. Paramam brahma sakshat drishtavantaha ye brahmadayaha. Brahma, Atharva and Angihi, Satyavaha, Angirasa, Shaunaka. all these. Brahmadaya avagatavantaha. Avagati is knowing, understanding. Te paramarshaya. Tebhyo bhuyopi namaha. Again, bhuyaha means once more. Bhuyopi namaha. Namo vakam prashasmahe, as Kalidasa says, I guess. Namo vakam. Vak means words. Namo vakam. Words of salutations are offered to great beings. Dvir vachanam. Dvir means twice, 2 times. Dvir vachanam ati adarartham. To show surpassingly high amount of regard, of pujya bhava. And that repetition, Namah Paramarashibhyo, Namah Paramarashibhyaha, repetition, saying twice, Mundaka Samaptyarthancha. Tratiyam Mundakam Atra Samaptam Bhavati. 3 Mundakas, each having 2 khandas, right? We were seeing. In this way, the 2 mantras that we saw in this class, just throw a little more, sprinkle a little more details into this whole matter, but essentially it's a praise. Praise of Vidya, praise of the students, and above all, praise of those illustrious teachers who ensured that this Vidya passes on from generation to generation for thousands of years. This land's history has always been underestimated by modern researchers, but more and more data is emerging how this Vedic culture was much more ancient than what one would imagine. We don't know how old, how long back. Huge civilizations are now found. They had gone under the sea, they had gone under the earth, they had gone under some rivers maybe, and civilization had flourished in those places. And you and I, after all these many thousands of years, are yet, or even now, trying to drink from the fountain of this very great Vedic tradition, which has won many battles, which has won the test of time, and so much of foreign influences, so much of influence of other cultures, so much of political subjugation, so much of economic deprivation, so much of looting and plundering, and so much of being told we are no good, we need to learn from them or from these people, and so on. All that is history. There are people who point out how much we have gone through, the Indians, but then after all that, there seems to be again another rising. Like the phoenix bird goes into fire, and even as everybody thinks, burnt, gone to ashes. No, wait a minute. The bird rises from those flames, from beneath, from the middle, from the center of the flames. The bird comes out flying with new wings, with no new splendor, with apparently new energy. Likewise, there is a possibility that you and I could be that kind of phoenix, rising from the ashes, rising from the middle of flames of fire with renewed brilliance. Maybe attempt that, maybe strive, maybe do what is possible at our hands. Symbolically, to imply we will be studying this Mundaka Upanishad again and again. It has been a practice to read out the first mantra rather than closing the book as we chant the last mantra. So I recite that, all of you also holding your book in your own mind or loudly, though it won't come in this online presentation. You may recite Om Brahma Devanam Prathamas Sambhabhuva Vishwasya Karta Bhuvanasya Gopta Sabrahma Vidyam Sarva Vidya Pratishtam Atharvaya Jeshta Putraya Praha. Om Shanti 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 Namah Paramarashibhyo Namah Paramarashibhyah. As announced before, we will not have Upanishad classes in the whole of July, and 6th August, or is it 6th August? Let me see. I noted down. Friday, August 6th. That's right. Friday, August 6th will be this kind of class again. Mundaka Upanishad is completed, but we will either take another Upanishad with Bhashya and so on, or some other suggestions from all of you are truly welcome. But I would personally prefer to do something which would take us deeper into the vision of Adi Shankaracharya, rather than just going horizontally to more and more shlokas and texts. Let's take up something where there is a deeper engagement. Again, this Friday morning in the west, evening in the east, on Friday, the 6th of August. No classes on Fridays in July 21. Harihi Om. Om Namah Shivaya.